What up, everybody? It's your boy Spence Crosby, aka Faiska.
Yo, it's your boy William Taylor, CEO of New Wave Coaching, Fitness, Nutrition, Mindset.
And of course, Tyler Wellness in the building. Make yourself a priority.
And welcome to Fill Your Cup Podcast. It'd be really dope if I had that dude from that insurance company, Allstate voice. Man, I'd be like, I probably had all the chicks on here. Not that I already get them anyway. Nah, I'm just playing. I had to throw that in there for y'all real quick. But yeah, fellas, we're back. Listeners, we're back. Guys, let's go ahead and fill the cups up.
Let's get it.
Man.
What are we sipping on today, man? You gonna tell us or you gonna wait?
I'm gonna tell you guys. Well, nah, taste it first, because I added a little spice to it. Dang it, I forgot another spice though that I wanted to add to it. And yeah. Yeah.
Well, in the meanwhile, man, while we filling up our cups, y'all fill y'all cups up too.
Fill it up. Hold up.
Pour it up.
All right, take a sip though, because it's been brewing for a little bit.
Attention real quick.
Yes.
Okay, set the attention.
Yeah, what should we set it to, guys?
New York's, nah, I'm just playing. The right state of mind.
The right
State of mind. Cheers.
It's not bad.
It's good, bro.
Yeah.
So this is marshmallow root, of course with cinnamon, and I put some that turmeric ginger blend in here. So it's not bad at all. The marshmallow root is pretty potent, and I like that. I think a good combination is marshmallow root and cinnamon. So for the listeners out there, if you guys ever want to try different herbal teas, look into marshmallow root and then mix that with cinnamon. And of course, it's loose leaf tea because I'm bougie out here, and I buy the actual cinnamon bark. But with that being said, guys, we have set the intention. Let's go ahead and talk about the tea for today. Let's spill the tea. And I think I want to talk about the right state of mind, which I said earlier. You know, having the right mental attitude for things, especially if you want to be quote unquote successful with whatever you want to do. And I think that's very important. To have that mindset, that positive but balanced mindset, as I like to call it. And so we're going to go ahead and proceed into the segment. Hope y'all ready. Let's talk about the mental attitudes, though, guys. As far as environment, you know, you see a lot of people always talking about, like, I'll say this, for instance, a lot of women say men ain't shit, blah, 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 blah. But it's just like, is it you? I think it is you, because it's just like, maybe it's just the type of attitude. Maybe you attract those type of people around you. What do you guys feel about how you think about something, and do you think you attract that type of energy?
I can definitely say that what you think about, you know, you attract into your life. You know, if you're thinking like, man, like today sucks, like you're gonna look for everything and you're gonna find everything in that day about like what's gonna make that day sucky for you, you know. So I really think that it's important to pay attention to what you're thinking about and how you're thinking about certain things, you know, because like I had said earlier, you know, your attitude determines your altitude. You know, if you're thinking low, you're going to be flying low. But if you're thinking high, you're going to be flying high. So just important to make sure you got your thoughts focused on the right things.
Definitely. You got to think high to rise, right? The crazy thing is, you know, as we're talking about this subject, you know, the things that you think about, you sort of kind of attract in your life. I know some people out there probably have that mental attitude of, oh, here they go again, talking about some kind of law of attraction kind of stuff, right? But you got to think about it in this perspective. If you go into a situation and you think something's going to be bad, what's your mind going to do? Your mind's going to highlight all the things that's going to make that situation seem bad to you. But if you go into a situation and you're like, man, this is pretty awesome. Look at, you know, everyone's here, everyone's happy. You're literally starting to highlight all the things that make everything look amazing, and you're going to literally create for yourself a better time. So just imagine, like, if you go into a brand new work environment and you're looking for opportunity to grow, you're going to start to recognize the people you got to talk to, the opportunities that are there for you to take advantage of. If you look at the job as, I just got to get through this, you know, you're going to recognize all the things that make time feel like it's slagging or like dragging on and stuff like that. So just really look at it in that new perspective.
Yeah, and I think having a new or more refreshing perspective is important because it's going to shape your future. Man, if you keep doing something over and over and it's like, just say it's in a positive altitude, and you're attracting that type of energy around you, gradually it's gonna happen to you. If you hang around millionaires, you're gonna become a millionaire sooner or later. It might not happen tomorrow, might not happen the next year, but it's gonna happen. Just keep grinding, my friend. Keep grinding. So with that, guys, describe your mindset. Let's get on a personal level. I want to hear like not just. I don't want to hear just the cake and ice cream. I want to hear like this is gonna sound crazy, y'all. The beans and rice, you know, the beans and rice of it, you know, the meat of it. I want to get to that. So tell me about your mental attitude and how it kind of shaped who you are now.
I can definitely say growing up, I was always kind of an optimistic person. I think that it definitely had a lot to do with the things that I was influenced by. You know, it'd rather be, you know, positive things like music. You know, music was one of the things that it kind of allowed me to gain a sense of confidence from and just kind of hear what the rappers are talking about or hear what the lyricists are talking about. And then I started to think about the same things, you know, and mostly like positive things, you know. Back when I was a kid, it was more like 90s, you know, hip-hop music, you know, New York, Nas, maybe a little bit Kanye, and definitely a lot of, like, positivity in that music. So I definitely feel like that had an influence, you know. Even the movies that I would watch or whatever it would be, the entertainment choices would be kind of like, you know, the hero's journey, you know, classic, you know, classic badass dude in the movie or whatever, and maybe he's kind of like sucky at the beginning and he starts to level up his life, and I definitely can kind of relate. I can relate my story to that and say like, hey man, I want to be like this guy, or video game character or whatever it is. But yeah, that's just from the beginning, kind of how I started kind of to shape my thoughts, and definitely that was a big influence for me.
All right. I wish I could say everything was all positive for me. It was not. I used to be very negative, oddly enough, and seeing me now, people would not believe that my thoughts were what they were. I actually had like a emo scene phase that I went through personally, and the music I would listen to was all negative. It was just bad, dark stuff, like crazy. And I'd have self-deprivating thoughts, you know, just like, man, you can't do this. And then just think about watching like Charlie Brown, right? Charlie Brown, the main character, he's always like putting himself down. Like that's the kind of stuff I was growing up with too. So it's like you're thinking like, man, and then so you're just like, all right, maybe I can't do stuff. And then I was in the internet phase where I'm playing these games and stuff online, and everyone's toxic. It's just crazy, man. And I'm telling you, like that had like a huge effect for a long time. And then one day, you know, I just started to like take my own personal initiative and be like, well, what if I could actually do something and try it, and had a little bit of success. And then it started to build my mindset better. Like, why was I even thinking that I couldn't do this when I didn't even take action towards trying, right? And then so as I started to build that success, I realized, man, it is literally what you think about. Like when I wasn't thinking that I was capable of doing stuff, I wouldn't take action towards creating that capability for myself. But when I thought it might be possible, I took an action. And then I had that result that justified, you know, the belief, the new belief of I can succeed, I can do it. So that's kind of what happened for me.
Man, it's crazy because you remember those. It wasn't so much the Halo voice chats. It was that Call of Duty, man. You'd be like, God damn. What, man? Who shitted in your oats, man? You straight? Are you constipated?
Just because I killed you, bro?
Yeah, like they be mad, man.
Or just because I suck?
Man, I ain't gonna lie. If you did suck on video games, I send you a message. I used to be like, "Is your dog playing?" And then some of the messages I get back was hysterical. I had one dude that said, "Man, dude, I'm on some strong meds." I wanted to be like, "Nah, motherfucker, you ain't on no strong meds. You just ass." But he probably was. And I had one dude that said, "I was like, is your dog playing?" He said, "Cat." I was the funniest one because
witty.
Yeah, exactly. I love that one. But yeah, I can definitely connect with Tyler on that because that's how I grew up. Not because my parents told me this, but it's just because the environment. And man, I remember, I don't know, this memory I have of this guy in high school. He used to always pick on me, man. And I remember one time I let him borrow my pen in 9th grade. And it was a big pen my brother had. He said, "Yo, let me borrow." I was like, "All right, bro." Yeah, I'm thinking like, all right, maybe I could fit in. I was always kind of deemed as cool, but at the same time, I was still nerdy. And so I let him borrow my pen. I remember walking back to the 1012 building because we had the 9th grade building was separate from the 1012. And I remember he said this to me. I was like, "Oh, can I have?" I'm just say his name. I was like, "Josh, can I have my pen back?" He was like, "You want your nah?" He said something like "nah," and I asked him again. He was like, "You want your shit now, bitch?" And I never forget. Like I ain't really say nothing. I'm like, "Yo," because he had two other cats with him, and I'm thinking like, "Man, I'm about to get whooped." And then from that moment, because I was always small, I didn't grow until like 11th, 12th grade, and so I was obsessed with working out, and I was like being told I couldn't do stuff, and then I started to not surround myself, but my step pops really played a role in me having confidence. But anyways, fast forward, I was like, what, 14, 13, 14? And then fast forward to when I was 20. Man, this guy is smaller than me now. He's shorter than me. I'm like, yeah, I hurt your little ass. Now, see, you can't, what's that movie called, Walk Home Roscoe Jenkins? When Roscoe told that dog, I forgot the dog's name. He was like, yeah, you used to terrorize me as a kid. I don't do that no more. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Buggy, it was Buggy. I should kick you in your ass, Buggy. I should kick you in your ass, Josh. I really should.
I want my pen back.
Yeah, I want my pen back now. You know, but
Man, you about to fight.
Man, I swear that dude got on my nerves. But he respected me, you know what I mean? Because I showed that I wasn't scared. I just showed like it wasn't even on a beef level. It was just like I think he was playing football and he just showed respect for me. So it's the way you carry yourself. You gotta be confident. You gotta be very self-assured. It goes back to how my public school teacher, what she taught me too in college. She said, if you make a mistake, own up to it. You know, don't be afraid to make mistakes because ultimately, if you own up to your mistakes and you be confident, like, yeah, I made that mistake, people ain't gonna say nothing to you really much. The only time they really mess with you is like when you just kind of, I ain't gonna lie, when you be a bitch, don't be a bitch. Like you really gotta just suck it up and just be like, all right, I chuck up that L, keep it moving. But that's my whole reflection on how I slowly become the person I am today. And then now we're doing a podcast, and now it seems like once again another side story because I want you guys to talk on this too. I recently got into stocks, you know, and I was into it like a year ago, but I said, you know, I'm not gonna put too much effort into it because I was like, man, I gotta focus on my business, my skills training people, and content. And anyways, just talking to these guys, like family members, other close friends, I'm like, okay, the universe is telling me to do this, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So how important do you think it is, guys, do you feel like the mindset you have now has attracted the energy, or let's just say the group of people around you?
Oh, 100%, man. Definitely, you know, you hang with those same birds on the same branch, you know, and it can be a hard thing, you know, to start changing your thoughts and change the people around you because you got to think about your thoughts. You know, you think the same thoughts and it creates the same emotion, it creates the same behavior, and that's how the days go and that's how the years go. So most of the time, you know, if you're that 10-year-old or whatever and you're thinking in your head, oh, I can't do this, or, you know, this is going to be too hard, or maybe I'm not good enough to play on the team, or whatever it is, you know, it's more than likely you're going to continue to think those thoughts all throughout your, you know, adolescence, and that's going to shape your life into your adulthood. And it's very hard to start to go in there and change those thoughts. So I definitely think that it starts there. What was the question you asked me, man?
Basically, just how the energy, the person you are now, okay, yeah. Do you feel like it attracted, like even this podcast, the group of people that you surround yourself with on a weekly basis, do you feel like the mindset you have now has attracted that type of energy around you?
I definitely feel like what started to change the thoughts in my head was really just reading and kind of seeing the stories that were being told and the other people's thoughts. And then those thoughts started to get in my head, you know, and I feel like that ultimately kind of changed my path, you know, because like I said before, you know, thinking those same thoughts, doing the same things day to day, you know, hanging out with the same people, you know, it's going to create the same results. But once I started to read, that started to open up my mind, and I started to see opportunities and started to think about different things, you know, and whenever I get around somebody who's thinking like, oh, like I heard that out of a book, or he's thinking the same way that they're talking about in this book, you know, so I start to gravitate towards that, you know, and lo and behold, you know, those people, I start to talk like that, and people, hey, they start to gravitate towards me, you know, those like-minded individuals. So I definitely feel like the thoughts and the way you carry yourself, it definitely attracts that same type of energy back towards you.
And I definitely agree too. One, reading and thinking differently. Reading started to change the way I thought about things. But if it weren't for reading the book Think and Grow Rich and then founding the mastermind, I wouldn't have known either of you guys as much as I do.
Crazy.
So yeah, definitely, the mindset now does attract more people, and I've had so many new connections just based off from the way I think now. I have people reaching out to me for book suggestions and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, wow, you guys are, interested in thinking about this or, exploring more on this topic. And then being able to share what I learn is, another great aspect that brings more people to me. And it's weird how that works, but it's like, if you think about it, like the music you listen to right now, if you don't read a lot of books, that's how you connect. You start talking about the TV shows and the music you listen to and stuff and the movies you watch. But if you start to read new things and think new different ways, you start sharing ideas instead of sharing gossip. And then that starts attracting better, higher, thought, people, I guess, people that think differently. And that's kind of how it all works.
Yeah, it's crazy how you really reflect on the people around you and the similarities. I always tell myself that the people I surround myself with, like let's say on a weekly basis, are reflections of me, and they're like it's almost hard to explain for me. Like I'll use an example. So one of my friends, they are a manifestation of, let's say, my emotional side, I would say. So I'm like, man, you're so emotional, man, relax. But I just like, there's at times when I'm emotional, It's just his is more polarized than mine, and I'm just like, oh, that's the universe telling me, hey, this is kind of like this polarity right here, and it's you see how it's really is manifested fully right there. And I'm like, oh, okay, but it doesn't like detract from our friendship, It just shows like, hey, these people are you, and it's just like the people I surround myself with. I see a lot. I'm like, these are me. It's just different manifestations, and I'm sure they feel the same. Like, hey, this is me at this level, and we see each other's strengths and weaknesses, and we're like, okay, we gotta improve on this. Well, we have our strength in this. So I really feel like that whole energy dynamic really plays a role, man, and just creating that environment around you.
I just want to share a quick story about that whole attraction thing and how the thoughts attract. I remember my first year of college at KVCC. I came from Kalamazoo, Michigan. I was just working. I actually had a job selling these vacuums, and I had picked up this book from the library. It was called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And, we're in this, it's like summertime. We're in this hot ass van trying to sell these $1,000 Kirby vacuums, And I got a great sales team around me. There's this one chick, and she's really good getting in the door. And then I'll have to do my demo and stuff like this. But we just spent hours, going from door to door, driving. Like, we go from Kalamazoo to Grand Rapids. And I just be in there just reading this book. And I started to realize, like, man, a lot of the stuff in this book, it sounds kind of crazy. I've never really done this stuff. I mean, I understand that it works, but I've never really tried it. So I said, hey, next house I go in, I'm going to try some of this stuff, And sure enough, I'm the one who's facilitating selling these vacuums, and I'm the one who's like out of the whole group, I'm the one who's kind of selling the most vacuums and whatnot, closing, or at least getting close to the close, So reading that really helped, and I could kind of see how that was applicable and how it worked. Then some time went by, kind of left that job, ended up coming here to Grand Rapids, and I started working a factory job. And it's kind of cool little work or whatever, and I'm just kind of chilling. And this dude, he starts talking to me. I don't know what we started talking about, but we just get into a conversation about some stuff, and we're going back and forth. Conversation's flowing. I can see he's cool. And he starts talking about how to Win Friends and Influence People. And sure enough, he had read that book also. So that was just kind of interesting to see. Like, we started talking. We didn't know that we had both read that book at the beginning when we first met each other, but just how we were communicating with each other, we could kind of pick up like, oh, like, you seem like you've read this book, or you seem like you might like this book. And then it's just kind of interesting that we came together and we had that conversation and stuff. I wish that I would have linked up with him and see where he's at right now and see what happened to him. At the time, I hadn't quite picked up on the networking skills and whatnot, but I think that's just kind of interesting just to see how people can attract. You know, the energy and that mindset can attract more people and more like-minded people to you.
That's real. That's real.
And one thing I'm going to come back to is when Spence mentioned stocks earlier, how your mental attitude in that can definitely change your results. I remember back when I was just getting started, I wasn't doing that hot, and I'd be seeing, the red days and everything, and it'd be going down, and I'm like, dang, this is not good. I'm gonna like paper hands sell it quick, right? And then this year I can literally see in the portfolio when you can go to like 1 year, 5 year, etc., like the huge spike upwards versus where it was before. And I was like, it's literally all mindset, because like once I started to have less emotional attachment to it, understand it's just like, yeah, this is just another investment, in itself. And I had more people that were talking about stocks. It was like, wow, yeah, this is something that you can really do. All you got to do is put the time and effort into it. And like I said, I started to find more people that were talking about it and knew what they were talking about, not just new guys like getting into it like, yeah, I heard this thing, and it's just what the news is talking up, hyping up, and then you get in and it's all red because it's like the news hyped it up. But yeah, it's your mindset. Like if I would have came back to stocks like I am now and had the mindset of, man, it's going to be just as bad as it was before, I probably wouldn't have a good portfolio. But I came back with a new fresh set of eyes, a new mindset. Like, yeah, this is going to be great. Just like, a business investment, et cetera. Like, know why to invest in these companies, et cetera. And then surely enough, it was a great experience.
It's crazy. Like, I hate you guys too. Because I swear I was not trying to get into stocks. I was like, no, I refuse to do this. I'm like, no, I don't believe in doing something. If I want to put my heart and soul in something, I don't believe in doing a half-ass. I'm going to give my energy and time to it. But I just said, the universe is saying, Spencer, get your monkey ass up and get them damn stocks. I'm like, all right, I got you then. I guess I will. But I want to talk about a quick story too about how when I was it was sometime last year, and I remember searching for. I was like, man, I need a challenge, a physical challenge. I want to be able to be pushed to another level, and I'm like, man, Grandpa's ain't doing it for me. I just want somebody to take me to that next level. And my brother was training. Well, he still trains with him, but he had a trainer. And my brother's like, yo, you check out this trainer. I'm like, man, I'll check him out. So anyways, when it was like almost 6-8 months, and I was like, all right, I finally checked him out. And so anyways, man, I go down there. I'm just like, man, I told the dude immediately, like, man, look, I just come here to hit the bag, man. I ain't come to bother nobody else. Let me go and hit the bag. Y'all do your thing. He was like, all right. Man, 3 minutes in, he was like, all right, bro, big bro, come on. Because he just called me big bro because it's my little brother. So anyways, I come in there, man. He works my ass off. Next thing you know, I'm going to this dude every time my brother goes. Goes to show you that when I asked this question to the universe, and I was subconsciously attracting this energy because I kept putting it out there. I got a trainer that pushed me to those limits, and now I still train with him, and I try to avoid him at times because I know he gets me in that mindset to be like, all right, I know I got to focus on one skill, but he kind of pushes me into other skills that I'm like, you're right, I need to learn that. So shout out to my man, John G, man. That dude is a phenomenal trainer, phenomenal guy. Dude, Grand Rapids really has a gym. Like I said before, Grand Rapids has gyms that they don't know about. But just the people I'm around with now, it's crazy, man. And it's like, I don't ever talk to them and be like, yo, it's a shitty day. It's always progressive. Like, man, what are we doing? What's the next thing? Like, Will, oh, man, I'm reading this or I'm studying this. Or like, he's big into nutrition. And Tyler mentioned something about what he said earlier about him knowing about dehydration with people. All these things that I surround myself, all these people, they know this stuff. Even Tyler, like, we shoot videos every Tuesday and Friday. And it's just like, he always says like, yo, I was reading this book. I was waiting to hear. I was doing this. I'm just like, damn, everybody always on their shit. And that's what I love about like, just the people I'm around. But with that, guys, we're going to take a quick intermission real quick. We'll be right back. That's what happens when you got old shit running. You just you just know it's time. But I just want to tell that quick little story real quick too. And I'm just happy, man. I'm really happy. Listeners, I hope you guys are slowly taking this in and you're reflecting on your life and the people that's around you. And you start to make those changes if necessary. With that, guys, did you guys want to mention anything else? Because I could keep going. I'm not going to lie to you. I got another story, but I'm just going to I'm kind of going to feed on you guys.
So you can tell your story if you want, but just to kind of bring it back full circle, we talked about the perspective, the mindset that you need to be successful. What are some things that you guys could say? Like, how do we change our mindset now that we know we might have a messed up mindset or whatever it is, our past conditioning? How do we go in and change our mindset? And one thing that I was just kind of thinking about is, what you're consuming, the content, especially, if you guys are on Instagram, if you guys are on Facebook, YouTube, what are you consuming? What are you watching on Netflix? What kind of movies are you watching? Are you watching something that's inspiring you and making you think new creative thoughts, or making you think about like a new way how I can make money, or anything that's going to inspire you to make some different moves, So just to kind of bring it back like to content, like one thing that I did was just like all the nonsense content, all the just stupid stuff or anything that's distracting me, and not feeding me and not giving me inspiration, I unfollow them, unsubscribe, and just kind of clean up and pay attention to what is on your page and what's popping up on your Facebook feed as you scroll down, and what's on your Instagram stories, and just kind of like weed out everything that's not positive or not giving you growth, and not giving you what you need to push yourself forward. And just kind of filtering through that, and because it can be a lot, you're taking that stuff in, you don't really realize like you watching these memes about stupid stuff or whatever it is distracting you and making you think these thoughts, or whatever it is, or hearing somebody on Facebook sharing their sad story about all this drama and trauma. When you take that in and when you read that or when you hear it, you're taking that in and you're internalizing it, because your subconscious mind is going to be picking it up. So that's just one tip that I can share, just to kind of clean up your Facebook feed, clean up your feed, man, clean up your content, whatever you're consuming, so that it's growth oriented and it's going to give you those thoughts that you're trying to get.
Let me hop in there too. Definitely, I agree with the cleaning up thing. And as he was talking about there, say you're on Facebook and you start to read someone's post, and I'm not going to say that these problems don't exist, but especially being black out here, right? You're going to read things that people say you can't do. They're like, hey, look, there's these crimes going on. There's people trying to oppress you, hold you back from being successful, and then you might internalize that as fact. The thing is, it's not, because it's just an obstacle that you can overcome. And if you know that, like say minority businesses are, more likely to fail, well, try to be the percentage that succeeds. You know what I mean? It's not saying it's impossible for you to do stuff, but people are going to read that, internalize it, and never even take action to try because someone else put a statistic out there and you believed them. Another thing I always say is, someone told you the sky was the limit and you believe that, when in reality, the sky was never the limit. You can aim for as high as you want to go. And one thing that I set as one of my life philosophies is, how you can sort of build that mindset is these 3 steps. What you do, what you know, and what you believe. The things that you choose to do are based off of things that you think you know. And you only think you know that stuff because of certain beliefs. So if you target a belief, you can change your belief based off from results your actions create. Or you can learn new things that will build new beliefs. And then if you have a new belief, you're going to take different action. Or if you start to take different action in general, it's going to change your belief on a thing, which then you now know new things. You learn something new. So it's a triad that literally can help you change your entire life based off from just asking yourself, is this because of a belief? Is it because I was taught something or told something? Or is it because of actions in the past that built certain results for me?
Man, I love that. And not to, I don't want to speak too much on that, but like the minority thing, man, got to get that shit out your head. Just overcome that obstacle. All right. It doesn't matter where you come from. All that matters is where you're going. And my life philosophy that I always follow is to reflect when I'm in still water. And that will forever reflect who I am, because I don't believe, sometimes I can make impetuous decisions, but most of the time I'll reflect and I'll be like, all right, I see my reflection in still water. This is who I am. And that's what I recommend to you guys. Before you make decisions, do your best rather, to really reflect in non-chaotic times, because that's how you really make great decisions, guys. Anything else you guys want to add?
I got another tip here. Is just like the thoughts, man. The thoughts that are in your head, because you will get those negative thoughts. It happens to me. I might sit down and say I'm like editing a video or something, I'll be like, oh man, like this is really hard. I don't want to do this editing. I don't know how to do this. I'm not good at that. And then I'll catch myself and I'll say, wait, I got to switch that thought, because if I'm going at it with that attitude, you know, my energy is going to be lower, because everything, you know, that you think, your body, it does a physiological response to that. So if I'm like, oh, this is hard, I'm not going to be able to do this, my body's going to respond. It's going to drop the energy levels. Okay, it's hard. He can't do it. Turn everything off, you know, shut it down. So just a tip that you guys can use is to kind of like whenever you get those thoughts, squash them. You know, I try to think of them as like ants. I think I heard this on a podcast. Is ANT stands for like anti-negative thought system or something like that. You know, so, you know, whenever you catch that thought like, oh man, like I don't feel like going to the gym today, well, switch it. Like, oh, actually I do feel like going to the gym. Even though you might not, it might be true, you might not feel like going to the gym, but just try to reverse that thought, try to squash that ant, try to switch the story, and then your body's gonna feed off of that and be like, okay, well, he thinks that he feels like going to the gym, so maybe we should give him some energy, you know. And I definitely think that it will help you to try to go in there and try to reverse those thoughts, those negative thoughts that you're getting, squash them, replace them with a positive thought automatically.
Oh, go ahead, Tyler. Go ahead.
I was going to say real quick, you know, Henry Ford once said, the man who thinks he can and the man who thinks he can't, both are right. And so that's exactly how, you know, sums up a lot of what we're talking about here. The things that you think about, you're going to create, right? So just imagine going through your life and just think about things slightly different. Ask yourself why you think certain thoughts, because again, you know, you're not the embodiment of your thoughts. No one else knows what you're thinking as you're going through life. So if you feel sad and depressed in a certain moment, no one else knows that unless you're showing it in your body, you know, your physical body, right? Like droop shoulders and all that kind of stuff. But the thing is, you can change your thoughts in any moment, and no one has to know the reason why you just automatically got super happy and hype either. But as you're going through your life and you start to change your mindset and you change the stuff about you, you're going to notice manipulators in your life, because they're going to say, you've changed. You've changed because they can't control you anymore, and they realize that. So understand, you're going to lose people along your journey, and that's about it.
Yeah, fuck them haters. On my mom. All right, y'all. But hey, great podcast. I enjoyed it. Hope the listeners enjoyed it as well. The tea has been spilled, rather. I was gonna say the spill has been teed.
Yeah, maybe the spill has been teed.
Hey, as above, so below, right? So that's just everything is inverse or reflection of his own self. So, guys, great podcast, as I said before. Hope the listeners enjoyed it. It's your boy Spence. I'm like spitting all over this mic, I swear. It's your boy Spence Crosby, aka Faiska.
Yo, Professor Ill Will. Check us out on the next one.
And Tyler Wellness here, signing out. Make yourself a priority.
You already know. Peace.
See you next week.